Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, and how do you do?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, I have to say sorry to everybody again. I think I made it rain all day yesterday. I looked out of the... I'm not going to look. Shall I look? I looked out of the window yesterday and it was sunny. And then it rained all day.
I think it might be rainy season now.
It might be rainy season now, but I've got my wellies, I've got my waterproof coat, and I've got a big umbrella.
You do?
Yes, which is going to be very handy for making sure people can go from the car park to their classroom when we're back in school next week. Yeah. I need to check that my wellies fit though.
Have your feet grown?
I think my feet might have grown. It's been raining so much, I must have grown.
Maybe.
It's like watering the plants. Anyway, how are you all doing today? Shall we sing hello before we start our story? I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Are you ready? Hello, hello, how are you? Hello, hello, it's good to see you. I say hello to you and all your friends. I say hello, let's read together, let's sing together, let's have fun with friends.
And I still love seeing when people send us videos of Story and Song.
Yes, people joining in, people just watching Story and Song,
What did you do?
or people saying hello to us in their Good Morning videos on Class Dojo. It really puts a smile on my face. It was a big doo-doo.
Big ant!
Yeah, huge, the size of a small cat.
You might come and visit.
We are very excited about coming back to school next week.
Yes!
We are definitely yellow on the thermometer with excitement. Yeah, we're ready. We're excited. But we've still got Story and Song today and on Thursday with your requests. So yesterday we had babies and animals all together in one. Today we're travelling back in time. Millions of years. For dinosaurs. Thank you very much to everybody who suggested dinosaurs. We have chosen one of our absolute favourites today.
Yeah, this is one of my favourites.
Lots of people will have heard it before, but it's so good we want to share it again. It is, of course, Tyrannosaurus drip.
Or as I say it, Tyrannosaurus drip.
Just like that. This is Julia Donaldson and David Roberts today. Julia Donaldson, of course famous for other stories that she's written, especially The Gruffalo.
That's a hard sign.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tyrannosaurus drip. In a swamp beside a river, where the land was thick with veg, lived a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs who roamed the water's edge. And they hooted.
Up with rivers!
And they hooted.
Up with reeds!
And they hooted.
Up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds!
Now, across the rushy river, on a hill the other side, lived a mean Tyrannosaurus with his grim and grisly bride. And they shouted.
Up with hunting!
And they shouted.
Up with war!
And they shouted.
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!
But the two Tyrannosauruses, so grisly, mean and grim, couldn't catch the duck-billed dinosaurs because they couldn't swim. And they muttered,
Down with water!
and they muttered,
Down with wet!
and they muttered,
What a shame that bridges aren't invented yet!
look where they've been. Oops. Now, a little Compsognathus, but for short we'll call her Comp, found a duckbill egg and stole it from a nest beside the swamp. And she swam with it, and ran with it, and murmured,
Hey, Clemmy!
and
Won't the baby cubs be thrilled with duckbill eggs for Rosie?
she dropped the egg in terror and went running for her life from the mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim and grisly wife. And the duckbill egg went rolling, and at last it came to rest in, of all unlikely places, the Tyrannosaurus nest. Now the mother T had great big jaws and great enormous legs, but her brain was rather little, and she couldn't count her eggs. And she sang,
"Hatch out, my little terrors, with your scaly little tails, and your spiky little toothies, and your scary little nails."
Out hatched babies 1 and 2, as perfect as could be. But Mother T was horrified by baby number 3. And she grumbled,
"He looks weedy.
and she grumbled,
He looks weak.
and she grumbled.
What long arms, and look, his mouth is like a beak. He just needs feeding up."
Said Dad, and gave the babes some meat. The first 2 gulped and guzzled, but the third refused to eat. And he said,
"I'm really sorry.
and he said,
I simply can't.
and he said,
This meat looks horrible. I'd rather eat a plant." "A plant?"
yelled Mum in horror, and Dad said,
"Get a grip.
his sisters found a name for him,
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
and they shouted,
Up with hunting.
and they shouted,
Up with war.
and they shouted.
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur."
Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip tried hard to sing along, but the others yelled,
"You silly Drip, you've got the words all wrong.
for he hooted,
Down with hunting.
and he hooted,
Down with war.
and he hooted.
Down with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur."
Drip's sisters soon grew big enough to hunt with Dad and Mum, but they turned on Drip and told him,
"You're not fierce enough to come."
and he cried,
"They've gone without me.
and he cried,
Alack-a-day.
and he cried.
This doesn't feel like home. I'm going to run away."
So he ran off to the river, where he saw a lovely sight, a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs, all hooting with delight. And they hooted,
Up with the rivers.
and they hooted,
Up with the reeds.
and they hooted.
Up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds.
As he stood there on the bank, a sudden urge took hold of him, and he jumped into the water and discovered he could swim. And the duckbills came to greet him by the rushy river's edge, and they hooted,
"Nice to see you.
and they hooted,
Have some veg."
and Drip, who was delighted that they hadn't run away, ate bellyfuls of waterweeds and played with them all day. Then he gazed into the river, and he asked them,
Who is that creature in the water?"
and they laughed and said,
"It's you."
That night the lightning crackled, and a storm blew down a tree, and it fell across the river, and the T's cried out,
"Yippee!
and they shouted,
Up with hunting.
and they shouted,
Up with war.
and they shouted.
Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur."
Drip's sisters stepped onto the bridge, but then began to frown, for there in front of them stood Drip, who yelled,
Look down!
and they looked into the water, and they each let out a yelp, and one cried, and the other one cried,
Oh, yeah.
Their mother scolded,
Nonsense!
and she joined them on the tree. Then she looked into the water and exclaimed,
Oh, goodness gracious me!
The 3 of them stood trembling, and Dad said,
Get a grip! You're all of you as drippy as Tyrannosaurus Drip!
He strode onto the bridge and scoffed,
I bet there's nothing there!
Then he looked into the water, and he jumped into the air. And how the duckbills hooted when he landed with a crash, and the tree bridge broke, and 4 Tyrannosauruses went splash! And splash! Fluttering and clinging to the branches of the tree, they went whooshing down a waterfall and all the way to sea. And the duckbills hooted happily. They hooted,
Hip, hip, hip! Hooray for the heroic one and only duck-bill trap!
lovely, found his
That's
way
nice.
home in the end. It reminds me of another story a little bit,
Which one?
about a duckling. It doesn't turn out to be a duckling in the end.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We have our song I Like Books to share with you now. So if you would like to join in at home, we'd love to hear you singing and doing some actions along with us, because it's true, I like books.
Me too.
Yeah. Are you ready to sing along? Great.
Here we go.
I like books. Give me wonderful picture books. I'll read to the final cover. I like books. Give me beautiful storybooks. I'll see what I can discover. Take a look at what's inside a book. You'll be surprised how words can get you really hooked. So pick and choose a special book or two, and then it's up to you to take a journey of imagination. I like books. Give me wonderful picture books. I'll read to the final cover. I like books. Give me beautiful storybooks. I'll see what I can discover. Take a look at what's inside a book. You'll be surprised how words can get you really hooked. Just pick and choose a special book or two, and then it's up to you to take a journey of imagination. I like books. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Story and Song is back on Thursday for our final Story and Song before we are back in school on Monday. And on Thursday, we've got one last request from somebody at home. I wonder what we will be sharing our story about on Thursday. In the meantime, today, still got Exercise Live at 11:45. And Spanish Club on Zoom this afternoon as well. So have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks for being here with us today. We'll say bye for now.
Bye-bye.
And we will definitely see you soon.
Hooray!